I'm just gonna break down why I think King Carson will definitely surpass Playboi Carti numbers wise. You know, influence wise, I don't think he'll be as influential, but mainstream wise, I think there's definitely a chance. Here's a quick little example. Just think of Gunna and Young Thug. Like Gunna, you know, just surpassed Young Thug a little bit commercially, like not by too much, but like he still was a little bit bigger than Young Thug commercially. Like I think Gunna's peak first week sales is like 154 and Young Thug's was about 120. You know what I mean? So it's still kind of neck and neck, but you could say that Gunna surpassed Young Thug commercial wise, obviously not influence wise. So yeah, I'm gonna start off by comparing Carti's first week sales to King Carson's first week sales. So self-titled, Carti's first project did about 28K first week, while being on the same week as Kendrick Lamar released his project Damn in 2017, which, you know, is definitely a classic. Like, you can't tell me otherwise that this project is not a classic. He had the #1 song on there, like in the world. He had Humble, that was like #1 for many weeks. He had DNA, Loyalty, and structurally it was just a pretty good project. And some other big albums that dropped that year, and some of their first week sales. So let's just kind of break that down. Culture One by the Migos sold 131K first week, and that one had Bad and Bougie, and you know, Culture One is definitely a classic, like a 100% a classic. You gotta think, Carti dropped that same year, 2017. Lil Uzi Vert dropped Love Is Rage 2, and he had EXO Tour Life, which was on every airwave possible, and that sold 135K first week. You get Future self-titled, that sold 140K first week, which was, you know, definitely made some noise. You know, it had what was it, Mask Off, and you know, Carti's Magnolia off of self-titled did really well, peaked at 28, but it was kind of all over the airwaves as well. DJ Khaled dropped Grateful, which sold 149K first week, which had some, you know, some solid hits. I think it had I'm the One with JB on there, which was, you know, it was a good track. Big Sean, I think Big Sean just has one of the most annoyingest voices in the game. It's like between him or Nav. I don't mind Nav though, but that project sold 150K first week. Then Everybody by Logic just dropped a huge bombshell. So 247K first week, and I think he had that Hotline song, whatever you call it, like the, I guess the suicide prevention song on that one. Jay-Z sold 262K first week with 444, and that was Jay-Z's first project in years. You could argue that one's a classic. Eminem dropped Revival, sold 267K first week, and I'll be real, that project was definitely garbage. Drake dropped the Playlist, pretty much an album. More Life sold 505K first week. And then obviously Kendrick dropped Damn, like I was saying, which sold 603K first week. So Carti was up against a lot of big heavyweights, and obviously he didn't come anywhere close to even get into those heights, but he definitely made some noise with selling 28K, and Magnolia peaking at 28 on the Billboard Hot 100. Carti's second album, Dial-It, sold 61K first week, which was a huge W. It had some strong songs in there. Like Lean For Real was definitely my favorite. It was the same year that I think Juice WRLD dropped as well, or maybe a year before. It was 2019. Yeah, no, it was the same year as The Death Race for Love. And a lot of people say this one's a classic. I kind of think it's a classic too. It's a little bit long, but you know, it definitely influenced that whole Carti clone situation that kind of held its own for a long time. And obviously A Whole Lot of Red sold 100K first week, which is, I think, was arguably the last classic album. Is A Whole Lot of Red. Like, I think just like commercially, even though it was not necessarily very pop driven or had any songs that really charted that well, except what was that one song? We're in the grocery store. I'm pretty sure you guys know what I'm talking about. Sky. Yeah, Sky. But just comparing those numbers to Ken Carson, it's a little bit harder to compare just because Ken signed to Carti, so the comparison is a little bit weird. But you know, just let me cook here. So self-titled sold 28K, Dial-It sold 61K, Whole Lot of Red sold 100K. So now for Ken's first week sales. Ken's Project X didn't chart on Billboard Hot 100, but you know, it's considered a mixtape and it's considered an underground classic. I believe it was 10 to 11 songs, 0 misses, and you know, it was kind of like the hyper pop wave. You know, it was like right after A Whole Lot of Red, and songs like Beano and Slayer are very much driven by the Ken Carson sound off of Project X. Ken Carson's album called X hit 115 in Billboard Hot 100, and I don't think it sold more than 5K first week, and a lot of people didn't like the project that much. Like, a lot of people were disappointed. But then you had the group of people that absolutely loved it. Me personally, I loved it. It was my summer vibe in 2022. But I think for the Ken Carson's debut album, everyone talk about albums, so we're gonna compare them. We're gonna compare X to Self-Titled. That one didn't really chart, and The Great Chaos is his debut, and that sold 49K first week, which is super solid. It just really shows the potential Ken Carson has, you know, like just really proves it. And I think it's gonna be a good look for Ken Carson in the next few years, because I think if he waits at least a year and a half, the summer of 2025 or even the fall of 2025, and drops another banging project, I think it'll probably touch 70 to 80K. Maybe the level of Yeats 2093, and then I think his next one will be around the same level as A Whole Lot of Red, depending how much hype he gets after he drops more Chaos this summer, which is going to be a little bit of a deluxe version, and knowing him, maybe like 4 or 5 more songs, and I'll probably drop in the middle of the week, so they don't really count the first week sales for that. But you know, this is why I think Ken will definitely surpass Playboi Carti. He just drops way more music compared to Carti, including the Lost Files with 5 different versions of leaks. And you know, these are accidental leaks. These are him leaking his own music and putting it on a burner SoundCloud account and putting it as a playlist. You know what I mean? And I think that's definitely been a strong case for Ken to really just show that he's always just working on music. I know Carti kind of does the same thing, but I don't think those leaks are intentional. I do want to mention Ken just has better energy towards interviews, and he's just a more high energy person. Doesn't seem as shy and awkward as Playboi Carti is on interviews, so he definitely has a better personality. I would say his fans are strong, even though he shares the same fans with Carti and his label. He definitely has a cult-like following, and A Great Chaos just really showed how strong his fans are. I'll definitely say I think Ken is definitely my top 3 favorite right now, even though A Great Chaos dropped like 6 months back at this point. This one may be a hot take, but I think he's definitely making better music than Carti right now. Like AGC, Great Chaos is better than most of the 6 singles that Playboi Carti dropped leading up to his new project, I Have Music, and you can't change my mind on that. The last point I want to make, he's pretty versatile. He can do the dark sound, he can do the hyper pop sound. You know, it just shows with his different projects how versatile he is. Just with how much of a switch of Great Chaos is to Project X. Just definitely shows his versatility. He can do the kind of the slow type of rap on A Great Chaos, but he can also kind of speed it up. Kind of like what he did on Veteran and Money and Sex off of Destroy Lonely's projects. No Stylist and Looks to Kill. So yeah, I think he's going to be the Gunna out of the YSL label and surpass Carti commercially. But Carti will always have that influence above Ken, just always. It's just naturally because they're signed to the same label.